Good morning, my friend. I'm truly glad you're here today, because what I'm about to share might just change the way you think about your heart, your health, and how you age. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel Elderly Reflections. Your support keeps this growing community of senior wisdom alive, sharing real stories and life lessons that empower and inspire. And hey, where are you watching from today? Is it a quiet village in Ireland, a sunny porch in Arizona, or maybe a cozy apartment in Paris? Drop it in the comments below. I love knowing where these conversations are reaching hearts around the world. Now, let me tell you about a man named Carl. Carl is 76 years old. Tall, lean, always in motion. Lives in Colorado, right near the edge of the Rockies. The kind of man who greets the sunrise on a hiking trail and knows every curve of the mountain paths by memory. But what's most striking about Carl isn't his stamina, it's his heart. Literally. At his last cardiology checkup, his doctor leaned back, eyebrows raised. "Carl," he said, "your heart looks like it belongs to a 40-year-old athlete." Most people would assume Carl's secret is exercise, and yes, the hiking helps. But here's the twist, it's not the walking that's kept his heart so strong. It's what happens before he ever ties his boots. Carl's secret is a daily ritual. 3 minutes, no equipment. No supplements. No fancy machines. Just a practice rooted in rhythm, breath, and a decision he made 12 years ago after his older brother died of sudden cardiac arrest. He told me, "I realized I couldn't control everything, but I could control how I started my day." That ritual? It begins with something most people overlook. Stillness. Each morning, before coffee, before the news, Carl sits on his porch. Hands on his chest. Eyes closed. And he breathes, deep, slow, intentional breaths. He focuses not just on air going in and out, but on feeling his heart. Listening to its beat. Sinking his breath to it. Most people don't even know what their heart feels like, Carl said. They only notice it when it races or skips. But me? I greet it every day. What Carl is doing, without even realizing it, is activating his vagus nerve, the body's natural calming switch. Deep, slow breathing strengthens the connection between the heart and the brain, lowers blood pressure, reduces stress hormones, and improves heart rate variability, a powerful marker of cardiovascular resilience in seniors. And the science backs it up. A study from the University of California found that adults over 65, who practiced controlled diaphragmatic breathing for just 5 minutes a day, saw a 22% drop in cortisol, the stress hormone, and a significant improvement in heart rhythm coherence. And yet, no one talks about it. We chase pills, surgeries, machines, when sometimes, the most powerful medicine is how you breathe when you wake up. After those breaths, Carl moves. But not how you think. He doesn't jump into intense cardio. Instead, he does a gentle heart walk, indoors or outside, doesn't matter. What matters is the intention. For 10 minutes, he walks slowly, rolling his shoulders, swinging his arms, humming softly. It's not exercise, it's rhythm. It's connection. It's a moving meditation. And it's protecting his heart better than most prescriptions ever could. Carl's doctor once asked him, "What's your cholesterol medication?" Carl laughed and said, "Mountain air, quiet mornings, and peace in my chest." That might sound poetic. But it's not just poetry, it's biology. You see, as we age, the biggest threat to our hearts isn't just fatty foods or skipped workouts. It's inflammation. Chronic, low-grade inflammation caused by stress, poor sleep, loneliness, and emotional disconnection. That's what stiffens the arteries, raises blood pressure, and wears down the heart over time. And Carl? He's mastered the antidote. His routine, breath, rhythm, presence, is calming his nervous system, reducing inflammation, and training his heart to stay young. But that's not all. Carl also made a surprising decision a few years ago. He stopped eating after 6 p.m. Not because of weight. Not because of blood sugar. but because he read a study from the Salk Institute that showed how early time restricted eating helps reset circadian rhythms, reduce cardiovascular strain, and improve metabolic health in older adults. At first, it was hard. I missed my evening snack, he admitted. But after a week, I started sleeping deeper. My morning walks felt lighter. His resting heart rate dropped by 6 points. His blood pressure normalized. And he swears it helped with his memory too. There's something powerful about rhythm, not just in movement or breath, but in how we structure our day. The heart loves predictability. It thrives when we rise, eat, move, and rest at steady times. Carl, without fancy devices or apps, created a life that flows. A life that honors the heart, not just uses it. And here's the most important part. You don't need to hike a mountain to do what Carl does. You can sit on your porch and breathe. You can walk through your hallway with intention. You can set a quiet rhythm to your mornings. You can eat dinner a little earlier. You can build a life of quiet heartfulness. Because your heart isn't just a muscle. It's a mirror. It reflects how you live. And at 60, 70, 80, it still listens to you. It still responds to your choices. And maybe, just maybe, it's waiting for you to slow down and say, "Thank you. I'm still here. Let's keep going." Now that we've explored Carl's morning breath practice and his eating window, let's take a deeper look at how emotional connection plays a role in heart health, and what you can do about it starting today. Carl once told me, "You can't have a strong heart if it's lonely." And the more I've listened to stories from people in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s, across Europe and North America, the more I've realized, he's right. The physical heart and the emotional heart are not separate. They're deeply connected. And for many seniors, it's not diet or genetics that causes problems, it's disconnection. Let me tell you about Irene. She's 81, lives in a small flat outside Edinburgh. Her husband passed away 6 years ago. Her children live 2 hours away. She eats well, takes her medication, walks every day. But for a while, she kept ending up at her GP's office, complaining of chest tightness and a fluttering heart. They ran tests, EKGs, scans, even a stress test. Nothing showed up. But something was wrong. It wasn't until a nurse asked about her social life that Irene started to cry. "I eat alone. I watch television alone. Sometimes I go days without hearing my name spoken out loud." The nurse referred her to a local senior storytelling circle, a group that met once a week in a small library. Just to talk. Share memories. Laugh. Cry. 3 months later, Irene's symptoms faded. Her heart calmed. Her doctor said, "It's like she turned back the clock." And the science supports this. Studies from Harvard and Oxford have shown that loneliness is as harmful to heart health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It raises cortisol, increases inflammation, weakens immunity, speeds up cognitive decline. But connection heals. Carl knows this too. He's part of a group called the Dawn Men, 5 men in their 70s who hike together twice a month, rain or shine. They don't talk about their cholesterol or their grandkids' college. They talk about life. What they've lost. What they're still searching for. What they're afraid of. Carl says, "Every time I walk with them, I leave with a lighter heart, even if my legs are tired." That's the invisible medicine we often overlook after 70. Conversation. Eye contact. Laughter. Hugs. Listening without rushing. Sharing without fixing. And it doesn't have to be in a big group. Even a 10-minute call with an old friend. A neighborly chat on the porch. Writing a letter to someone you haven't seen in years. These moments lower blood pressure, regulate heart rate, and calm the nervous system. They remind the body, you are safe. You are loved. Dr. Eleanor Grant often says, the heart was never meant to beat in isolation. And she's right. Now let's talk about something else Carl does that caught me off guard. he sings. Every single morning. Not in public. Not on a stage. Just to himself, while making breakfast, feeding the birds, or walking through the woods. Sometimes it's an old folk tune. Sometimes just humming. But there's power in it. Singing, especially in older adults, has been shown to improve lung function, oxygen circulation, mood, and heart rhythm. It activates the vagus nerve, enhances memory, and releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. In a study conducted in Finland, seniors who joined a weekly singing group showed significant improvements in mental health and cardiac function, even without changing their diet or medication. Carl laughs when people ask about it. It's like tuning the instrument, he says, tapping his chest. If I want my heart to sound good, I have to give it a melody. So here's a question for you. When was the last time you sang out loud? Not for anyone else. Just for you. Because sometimes, it's the smallest things that awaken the body's deepest healing. And speaking of small things, Carl also made a commitment a few years ago to limit negative news in the morning. I used to wake up, turn on the news, and start the day angry, he said. Politics, disasters, scandal, it set my chest on fire. So now, he gives himself 30 minutes of quiet. No screens. No headlines. Just life. A bird outside the window. The feel of warm coffee in his hands. The way the sun hits the fence. These things lower his heart rate. They soften his mood. They extend his peace. He's not ignoring the world. He's just choosing to meet the day with calm first. And studies from UCLA show that seniors who limit early exposure to stressors like bad news or violent media have significantly lower blood pressure and a reduced risk of cardiac events. And if you think that's too simple to matter, I'd invite you to try it. Just one morning. Wake up, breathe deeply, hum something soft, and don't look at the headlines until later. See how your body responds. See how your heart feels. Because Carl's lifestyle isn't about chasing health. It's about protecting peace, and the heart responds to peace more than anything. Let me share one more story about Carl's sister, Maggie. She's 79, lives in Vermont. Unlike Carl, she's never been a hiker. But she adopted something powerful after seeing her brother's transformation. She started a gratitude journal. Every night, before bed, she writes down 3 things she's thankful for. Some days it's small, the tomatoes were finally ripe. Other days, it's deep, I laughed so hard with Carl I cried. After 6 months, Maggie reported sleeping better. Feeling less anxious. More grounded. Her resting heart rate dropped. And during her annual checkup, her cardiologist noted improvements in her blood pressure and overall cardiac health. Why? Because gratitude is anti-inflammatory. It lowers stress hormones, reduces heart rate, strengthens immunity. And it reminds us that even in aging, even in grief, there is still beauty. So what does Carl's heart secret come down to? It's not hiking. It's not diet. It's not genetics. It's how he lives. He breathes with awareness. He moves with rhythm. He connects deeply. He sings freely. He protects his peace. He notices beauty. He lives in tune with his heart. And you can too. You don't need a mountain trail. You need a morning breath. A steady walk. A listening ear. A daily song. A reason to be grateful. Because your heart is still listening. Still learning. Still willing to heal. Carl never skips his evening ritual. It's simple. No screens. No medication. No gadgets. Just a wooden rocking chair, a blanket across his knees, and a little notebook resting on the arm. This is the part no one sees, the quiet end to a vibrant day. But Carl believes it's just as important as his morning breath, his midday walk, or his laughter with friends. Before bed, he writes 1 page. Sometimes 2. It's not poetry. It's not a diary. It's what he calls his evening heart log. In it, he writes about how he felt that day. Not just what he did, but what moved him, what challenged him, what made his heart feel something. "I don't write for anyone else," he said. "I write so my heart can speak back to me." This practice, he told me, started after a moment that changed him forever. His friend Peter, another hiker, same age, same energy, died suddenly of a heart attack during a trail run. No symptoms, no warning. Just gone. It shook Carl deeply. Peter's heart was strong, he said. But I wondered, was it heard? That night, Carl started writing. And he never stopped. And here's the thing, it's not just emotional fluff. Writing about your feelings, especially as a senior, has real biological effects. Studies from Penn State and the University of Texas show that expressive writing lowers blood pressure, reduces heart rate, and even improves immune response. Why? Because when you process your emotions, your regrets, joys, fears, and hopes, you release emotional weight. And your heart doesn't have to carry it alone. Carl told me something that stuck with me. People think heart health is about beating. But it's also about feeling. If your heart's beating but it's shut down, are you really living? I've seen this echoed in countless seniors. Those who feel joy, love, even sadness fully, they live longer. Not just in years, but in depth. And Carl's writing has another surprising side effect. It prepares him for deep sleep. Because once his thoughts are on paper, they don't swirl in his mind all night. He sleeps without tension, without regret. And sleep, as we know, is critical for senior heart health. When we sleep, the heart finally rests. It lowers its pace, repairs inflammation, resets hormones. But only if that sleep is deep and uninterrupted. And for many seniors, poor sleep is an invisible enemy. Carl protects his sleep like a sacred space. No phone in the bedroom. No heavy meals after sunset. No news after dinner. He listens to the sound of crickets, sometimes soft piano music. He slows his breath. And he gives his heart what it's earned, a chance to rest. And if you're someone who struggles with sleep, ask yourself, what thoughts are keeping me awake? Maybe they need a page. Maybe they need a voice. Maybe your heart's been waiting to be heard. But Carl's story doesn't end in solitude. He also mentors younger hikers in his town. Shares his routines. Talks about his morning breathing, his heart walks, his journaling. Not as prescriptions, but as testimonies. Because here's the truth. Carl's heart didn't just grow stronger, it became wiser. That's what we don't say enough about aging. We talk about what declines, what disappears, what stops working. But we rarely talk about what deepens. The heart of a senior holds decades of resilience. It has weathered grief, rebuilt after betrayal, carried the weight of responsibility, overflowed with love, broken and beat again. That is elderly wisdom, not found in textbooks, but in lived moments. And it deserves to be honored, protected, strengthened. Not with fear, not with pills alone, but with presence. Carl's secret is not a mystery. It's a mindset. It's choosing stillness in the morning, movement through the day, connection with others, peace at sunset, reflection at night. These are not just habits. They are heart protectors. And the beauty is, you can start today. You don't have to change everything. Just take one thing from Carl. A few deep breaths before coffee. A slow walk after breakfast. A phone call to someone you've missed. A song hummed in the kitchen. A page before bed. These moments compound. And before you know it, your heart will respond. Not just in numbers, but in how it feels. Stronger. Softer. Lighter. And if you're watching this thinking, it might be too late for me, let me tell you this. If your heart is still beating, it's still listening. and it wants to thrive. So start small. Start now. Your heart deserves your attention, your breath, your rhythm, your care. It's carried you through everything. Maybe now it's your turn to carry it. If this story touched you, please take a moment to like this video. It helps us reach more seniors who are ready to take their health and their life into their own hands. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Reflections, where we share motivation, quotes, senior health advice, and life lessons from the elderly every week. And before you go, where are you watching from today? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to know what corner of the world your beautiful heart is beating in. Here's to peace, to strength, and to the quiet, powerful rhythm of a life well lived. Here's to you. Here's to living your best life, at any age.